I wasn't invited to the family group chat. We thought you'd be busy failing, my brother said. So I made my own private business chat. Today they're all asking to join because it started with a joke I wasn't supposed to hear. You know the kind. Shared behind closed doors, passed around like an inside laugh everyone gets, except you. It was my sister Amy who let it slip. We were at Dad's birthday dinner, one of those obligatory family gatherings where the food is lukewarm, and the conversation even colder. Amy was flipping through photos on her phone to show Dad a recipe, and for a moment she accidentally swiped too far, right into a group chat titled Fam Jam. At first, it didn't register. I just saw my siblings' faces in those little bubbles, Amy, my brother Eric, and Jason, the eldest. My mom's profile picture, even Dad's. Everyone but me. I asked, "Hey, what's that?" Amy looked up like she'd been caught shoplifting. "Oh, that's just a group we use for, quick updates. No big deal. I wasn't born yesterday." "You mean a family group chat?" I asked. She hesitated. "Well, yeah. It's not that we don't love you, we just figured. I don't know, maybe you were too busy." That's when Eric, the tech consultant, chuckled. Not a full laugh, just that dry, smug exhale that always managed to slice through me. "We thought you'd be busy failing," he said. And everyone laughed. Even Dad. Not loud, but enough. It was one of those moments that doesn't seem important until it rewires something inside you. I said nothing. Not then. I just smiled, excused myself, and went home. But inside, something cracked open. Something sharp. And from that crack, something else started to grow. Not bitterness. Not yet. Something colder. And far more useful. I didn't sleep that night. I laid on my back, staring at the ceiling of my tiny studio apartment, the kind where the kitchen sink whispers to the bed and every footstep echoes like an accusation. My laptop cast a soft glow beside me, its fan humming like a broken lullaby. The family group chat. Fam Jam. It sounded like something from a sitcom, except in this one, I didn't even make it past casting. I scrolled through old photos, birthdays, holidays, graduations. There I was, always just off-center. Cropped out. Blurred in the background. I never realized how much of my life had been spent trying to matter to people who had already made up their minds about me. Jason, the surgeon. Amy, the litigator. Eric, the digital wizard. And me? The one who dropped out to chase dreams. The one who bartended to pay for an app that no one downloaded. The one they let hang around out of pity, not pride. It wasn't just a group chat I wasn't invited to, it was a metaphor. An echo of every family dinner where I got asked about my latest little project. Every time Jason patted my back like a child returning from summer camp. So I made a decision. If I wasn't part of the Fam Jam, then fine. I'd start a new group chat. One where people actually wanted me there. Not out of obligation, but out of belief. I opened my phone and created a new thread, OpsDev Collective. It wasn't flashy. No emojis. No clever nickname. Just 3 names I had met through LinkedIn forums, startup events, and late-night cold messages. People who had responded not with laughter, but curiosity. There was Mia, a warehouse manager in Columbus who ran circles around supply chain managers twice her age. Dev, a data nerd from New Jersey who could automate inventory flow blindfolded. And I added myself, Nathan Carter, logistics dreamer / full stack dev / not failing. We weren't family. But that's exactly what made it work. We didn't owe each other grace. We earned it. And that was just the beginning. The first few weeks felt like trying to light a fire with wet matches. I'd get off my shift at the cafe around 11 p.m., change into sweatpants, and sit down at my creaky desk with a mug of coffee that had been reheated too many times. I'd crack my knuckles, open Visual Studio Code, and dive into the bones of what I was building, line by painstaking line. The idea wasn't glamorous. No AI buzzwords, no disruption. No elevator pitch that made VCs lean forward like they'd discovered fire. It was simple. A logistics and inventory management platform for small businesses, the kind of mom-and-pop stores that didn't have the time or budget to hire consultants. They needed something light, fast, and easy. Something that worked right out of the box, like a digital brain for their stockrooms. I called it Spoke. Simple name. Clean interface. No-nonsense purpose. Mia started testing it with her warehouse staff, sending me frantic messages like, "Why does it show 3 units when we scan 4? Dev would jump in with a fix at 2 a.m., pasting in a snippet of code like it was nothing. He once debugged an entire function while eating cereal. There were nights I doubted myself. When a deployment broke. When no one replied to my outreach emails. When Eric's voice echoed in my head. Busy failing. But then one night, something shifted. I was on a Zoom call with a small business owner in Michigan, a woman named Carla who ran 3 discount stores and tracked her inventory on Excel sheets from 2009. I showed her Spoke's dashboard, clean, colorful, intuitive. She blinked. "Wait, it can tell me which store needs restocking without me calling each one?" I nodded. She stared at the screen for a long time, then said quietly, "I've needed this for years." And just like that, I stopped hearing Eric's voice. It was replaced by Carla's. Then by Jordan, a bike shop owner in Texas. Then Rachel, who ran a thrift chain in 3 states. Word spread slowly, like coffee soaking into paper. But it was soaking. Spoke wasn't just alive. It was working. And I hadn't told a single family member. Not because I was hiding. But because I was building. It happened on a Tuesday morning. I was hunched over my laptop, half-eaten toast beside me, when Mia called. Not texted. Called. She never called. She was too busy running a floor crew with the efficiency of a submarine captain. "Target," she said. I blinked. "What?" "Target, Nate. Corporate. They want a pilot." For a second, I thought she meant someone named Target. I genuinely didn't register. "You mean the store?" "The big box." "Yes, that Target. They found us through Carla. Turns out she knows a regional manager. They want to try Spoke in 15 of their smaller locations." I didn't say anything. I just stared at the toaster across the room like it was suddenly holy. 15 stores. National chain. Corporate interest. This wasn't some free trial with a struggling boutique. This was real. That same day, I got the email. "We've reviewed your demo and believe your solution may be a fit for our regional stock flow optimization efforts. Please let us know if you can accommodate a 90-day pilot with rollout support. NDA attached." I called Dev, and he screamed so loud I think he scared his cat. We spent the next 72 hours without sleep. We polished the interface. Rebuilt the backend for scale. Added a support line with call routing that went straight to my Google Voice, disguised with a fake customer service greeting. It was duct tape over glass, but it worked. And 3 months later, it worked so well that Target signed a 2-year contract. The numbers were absurd to me. I had spent most of my life calculating whether I could afford gas and groceries in the same week. Now I was looking at a 6-figure deal that would pay our dev costs, allow us to hire real support, and keep us breathing for a long time. Mia cried when I told her. Dev popped a bottle of off-brand champagne. I didn't cry. But I did something I hadn't done in years. I slept in. 8 full hours. And when I woke up, I did something else I hadn't done since college. I opened LinkedIn. My hands hovered over the keyboard longer than they should have. I had never posted anything on LinkedIn before. Not once. To me, it always felt like a curated place for professionals who had it all figured out: polished selfies in office elevators, recycled quotes from CEOs, and humble brags in disguise. I wasn't polished. I wasn't curated. I was just the guy they didn't invite to the group chat. But now I had something to say. So I typed. "A year ago, I wasn't invited to my own family's group chat. We figured you'd be busy failing," my brother said when I found out. "So I created my own group chat. Not for family. For builders. For doers. For people who believed in something that didn't exist yet. We called it Spoke. And last week, we signed our first national contract. Don't wait to be invited. Build your own room. Fill it with people who see you, not your past. I stared at it for a long time. Then I hit post. I closed the tab. Didn't think much of it. Went back to work. 2 hours later, Dev messaged me. Dude! Open LinkedIn. You're blowing up. I did. 20 comments. Then 75. Then hundreds. Investors. Founders. Small business owners. Even random strangers tagging friends and saying, This is what I needed to hear. One DM stood out. Hey Nathan, I'm a partner at North Arch Ventures. Saw your story? Would love to chat about where you're headed. A venture firm. I couldn't breathe. 2 weeks later, we were in a Zoom meeting with North Arch. Mia wore her one good blazer. Dev installed a ring light for the first time in his life. I practiced my pitch in the bathroom mirror until my voice cracked. But it wasn't the pitch that sealed it. It was the story. They saw what we had built with almost nothing. The traction. The customer love. The grit. The fact that I had learned to write back-end code while working night shifts. They didn't say it out loud, but I saw it in their eyes. This guy doesn't stop. When we hung up, my heart pounded so hard I thought I'd pass out. Then the email came. We're in. $1.2 million seed round. Lead check. Let's build something big. We had done it. We weren't a side hustle anymore. We were a startup. And that's when it started. Not the congratulations from old college friends or DMs from strangers. The messages from them. My family. The first one came from Amy. It was a text. Just a screenshot of the LinkedIn post. No words. Just 3 dots appearing and disappearing for about a minute before she finally typed. Wow. That's incredible, Nate. Really proud of you. You always were the creative one, smiley face. I stared at it for a full 60 seconds. The emoji? That little colon parenthesis? It hit harder than any slap. Something about the sudden warmth, the retroactive praise, the pretending like nothing ever happened flavor of it all. I didn't reply. The next morning, Jason, the doctor, the family legend, sent a message. Not just a text. A voice memo. I hadn't heard his voice in 6 months. Hey, little bro, listen, saw your post. Read through some of the comments. Man, you're blowing up. I always knew you had that fire, you know? I've actually been dabbling in some health tech stuff myself. Maybe we could chat sometime? Like brainstorm, strategy stuff. Hit me up when you're free. I replayed that line. I always knew you had that fire. Twice. It was almost enough to make me laugh. Almost. Then came Eric. The one who had said it. We thought you'd be busy failing. His text was longer. Casual, but with that undercurrent of desperation I could smell even through a screen. Heard about Spoke. Big moves, man. Genuinely impressive. If you're putting together a more formal advisory board, let me know. I'd be happy to contribute. Maybe even help with scaling ops or GTM planning. I've got bandwidth now. Also, any room in that business chat of yours? That wink. That nerve. I stared at it for a while. And then I did what I knew I had to do. I scrolled back through our last thread. Found the one from over a year ago. The one I never deleted. The line that started it all. We thought you'd be busy failing. I screenshotted it. Then replied. I thought you guys were too busy winning without me. No emoji. No kindness. Just closure. Then, with steady fingers, I opened my LinkedIn again. I created a new post. Success doesn't change people. It reveals who is watching you fail in silence. I built Spoke with a team that believed in the mission before anyone else did. Today, I celebrate them. Not the ones who come running once the spotlight turns on, but the ones who help light the match. I tagged Mia and Dev. Uploaded a photo of our makeshift whiteboard from those early days. And under visibility, I set it to private. Team only. Then I muted the family group chat. Because now, I had my own. And this one? Was full. The invitation arrived like it always did, weeks early, through a carefully worded email from Amy. No text. No call. Just a calendar event titled, Family Thanksgiving, Carter Residence. The note below read, Would love to see you there, Nate. Everyone's excited to hear more about Spoke. Bring the team if you want, smiley face. It would have been funny if it weren't so predictable. Last Thanksgiving, I was the punchline. Jason had made a joke about me. Beta testing unemployment. Dad said I should try dating someone with a real job so I could finally be kept. Amy brought a pie she said was as half-baked as Nate's last idea. Everyone laughed. Except me. This year, the tone had changed. Now they wanted a seat at the table with me. Now they were excited to hear about the platform they once dismissed like a bad science project. I clicked the calendar notification. Decline. No message. Just the cold simplicity of refusal. Later that night, I ordered takeout with Mia and Dev. We sat in our little co-working loft, 3 laptops open, music playing low, half-empty Red Bulls on the table. Dev was debugging a script that had mysteriously broken on Android, and Mia was writing a pitch deck for a local franchise chain we were targeting next quarter. No one wore suits. No one performed. At one point, Dev looked up and said, So, did you end up going to your family thing? I shook my head. Nah. Figured I'd spend Thanksgiving with the people who actually believe in me. Mia gave me a soft smile. We didn't toast or say anything poetic. We just went back to work, the way we always had, quietly, stubbornly, and together. And that was enough. I didn't need turkey or apologies. I had code, caffeine, and the only team that ever treated me like I was enough. 3 months later, Forbes ran a feature on us. Well, on me, technically. But I made sure they knew it wasn't just me. The headline read, From family outcast to startup visionary, how Nathan Carter built Spoke from a studio apartment. They sent a photographer to our office, really just a converted floor above a pizza shop with flickering lights and one working radiator. I wore a hoodie. Mia wore a jean jacket with paint stains. Dev didn't even realize we were taking pictures until halfway through the shoot. But none of us cared. We were in it. Fully. The article dropped on a Thursday. By Friday, my inbox was full. Some were strangers, angel investors, podcasters, retail chains wanting demos. But a good chunk? They weren't strangers at all. My uncle, who once joked at Christmas that I should marry rich, since my big dreams didn't come with a salary. My old college roommate, who used to ask me if I was still playing pretend with those apps. An ex-girlfriend's dad, who told her I was a long bet with bad odds. And, of course, my mother. She left a voicemail. Her voice was soft, almost rehearsed. Nathan, sweetheart. I saw the article. I didn't know everything you were working on. I guess we just thought you'd moved on from all that dreamer stuff. I'm sorry we didn't believe in you more. We're all proud of you. Your father, too. He just doesn't know how to say it. We were wondering if there's ever a moment maybe you could come over. Talk. Just us. I listened to it 3 times. Once with a tight chest. Once with a numb face. And once more just to make sure I didn't imagine it. She sounded like someone who had finally read the plot twist and didn't like where they stood in the story. Later that week, Eric reached out again. This time via LinkedIn. Professional. Polished. The same tone he probably used with clients in boardrooms. Would love to contribute in any way. Strategic scaling is what I do. I think there's a lot of synergy between your market segment and the frameworks I've built. Also, congrats. You've earned it, man. He attached a deck. An actual deck. Slides, projections, ideas. I didn't open it. Instead, I clicked into our old messages again. There it was. We thought you'd be busy failing. Still sitting there. Time-stamped. Unapologetic. Still as sharp as the night it was typed. I took a breath and replied. I already built my team. We're not failing. We're busy. No punctuation. No emotion. Just facts. Later that night, Mia asked if I was okay. Yeah, I said. Just got a few ghosts knocking. She nodded. Didn't pry. That's the thing about building something real. You stop explaining yourself. You let the scoreboard speak. And right now, ours was lit. You ever walk past the house you grew up in, one you haven't seen in years, and realize it looks smaller now? That's how the Carter family home felt when I finally stepped inside again. Amy had insisted on hosting a little dinner. Just family, she said. Casual. No pressure. The kind of event that sounds harmless unless you know what it's really about. I didn't want to go. But part of me needed to. Not for them. For me. To see if it still hurt. So I showed up. The same porch light flickered. Same squeaky floorboard under the welcome mat. Same glass bowl by the door where keys always went, even though no one remembered who put it there. Amy answered. You look good, she said, as if we'd just seen each other last week and not before I'd built a company from scratch. The living room was filled with warm smells and the clink of wine glasses. Jason sat near the window, still in scrubs even though I knew he hadn't been on shift. That was his thing, always arriving dressed for admiration. Eric was by the fireplace, already talking about some startup he'd helped scale. Dad nodded, silent, his approval as stingy as ever. Mom hugged me too tightly and too long. They said all the right things. We've been following Spoke. So proud of you. Incredible what you've built. You must be so busy these days. I smiled. Said thank you. Played nice. But I kept my coat on. Over dinner, the questions started small. So how many employees now? What's next after the pilot? Do you have outside investors? And then the shift. Subtle. But I felt it. Do you need legal input for scaling? Jason knows a few people. Eric's got enterprise experience. He could help with ops. If you're raising again, maybe the family can be involved? I laughed. Out loud. Not cruel, not sarcastic, just loud enough to pause the conversation. I already have a team, I said. They blinked. The smile never left my face. A good one. We built this thing without any family strategy meetings or dinner table lectures. Without help. Without fam jam. Remember that? Silence. Jason cleared his throat. Come on, that was a joke. I pulled out my phone. Scrolled. Found it. We thought you'd be busy failing. Held it up. Was this the punchline? Jason's jaw tightened. Eric looked away. Amy spoke softly. Nate, people say dumb stuff. We didn't mean it. I know, I said. You didn't mean it. You never meant anything. Not when I needed it. Not when I was eating peanut butter for dinner while coding logistics workflows at 2 a.m. Not when Spoke had 2 users and one was me testing it on different browsers. I stood up. Pushed my chair back. But now? You all mean everything. Now that the money's here. Now that people know my name. Dad opened his mouth to say something. I didn't wait. I walked to the door. Put my hand on the knob. Then turned around one last time. I'm not angry anymore, I said. I just don't want you in the part of the story I had to write alone. No one followed me. No one called out. And that was perfect. When I got back to the office, Mia was on the whiteboard sketching ideas for an inventory visualization system. Dev was eating noodles and cursing at his monitor. I walked in, tossed my keys on the desk, and sat down. You good? Dev asked. Better than ever, I said. Let's build the next thing. And we did. Not because we wanted to prove anyone wrong, but because we already had. The group chat buzzed. Mia had just landed a new partnership with a national wholesaler. Dev dropped a redesigned mock-up that made our old UI look prehistoric. We were growing fast. Our name, Spoke, was in mouths we never imagined. I stared at the screen for a second. Then opened my contacts. Found. Fam Jam. Muted. Blocked. Not out of spite. Just peace. Because I didn't need that room anymore. I'd built my own. And this one? The doors only opened one way.